Alright, hi everyone. This is Transport Fever, the current release version in my Oceanside map. And this particular view right here, which I'm going to save, is clocking in at 17 frames per second. It's a solid, no it's not solid, it just dropped to 16 and then back up to 17 frames per second. My goal here is to record this, say the time. I've got the little Steam FPS meter up in the upper left hand corner, and it is fairly consistently 17 FPS. Occasionally drops to 16, but not very often. And so I will pause this then, and when I pause it, it goes up to 22 frames a second. Even though it's paused, it still has trouble drawing something. So I'm going to save this as patch FPS test. All right, I am now in the latest and greatest patch that's been just put up over on the testing branch. And keep in mind, this is just now entered testing, so it's not final. I'm still paused, and this same view is getting around a solid 28, 29 frames per second. So it's a slight increase. And now I'm going to unpause it. Actually, we're down to 27, 28, 29. So I'm going to say 28 frames per second. Now I'm going to unpause it. And we're now getting 24, 25, 24 frames per second, 10 frames per second because of all the red text. Yeah, I didn't have any trouble loading the game. So now we're at 24, 25 frames per second. So we've gone from 17, so about an 8 FPS increase, which I gotta say is not fantastic. It is something, but it's not fantastic. Let's save right here, and let's call it, this is test 2. Okay, because we have cars here, and we have this train. That's a Flying Scotsman, by the way. Scotsman, I should say, not Scotchman. And then we have an oil train coming here that we can watch go by. So pause like this. And I know you can't see this on the screen, but I'm at 44 frames per second. 44. Now 31. 31, 32, 31, 32. It keeps bobbing back and forth. 31 frames per second. All right. So while paused, we are at 50 frames per second. Right at 50. No higher than 50. It's bobbing between 49 and 50. I'm going for 50. Let's unpause it. And we drop to 35, which is kind of expected because there's not a lot of trees in this shot. I do see cars in the background. We're down to 31. 31, 32. And here comes the steam oil train. 33. Yep. And still at 33. Still at 33. The smoke doesn't seem to affect the FPS any. Right, 33. And here comes the Scotsman over top. It's too bad we didn't get a good crossing here. And we are at 32 now. 31, 32. Oh, there's 21.9. Ouch. 20, 26. Man, it was a really stiff drop as that train passed by. All the way down to 9 FPS for a minute. And all right, with the game still moving and everything rolling, but everything out of the way where we can't see any trains, we're right at 34, 35 frames per second. All right, so I have 2 save files now I can test the patch with. All right, this is with the current test patch, the speed patch installed. This is test 2, and I can say right now, with it paused, we are locked at 60 frames per second. Not wobbling at all, a straight 60 with it paused, and this is much better performance than pre-patch. So now I'm going to unpause it, and let's see what happens. Actually, first, let me turn off the down. This is all I turned off. All right. And so we are ready to go. We're at 60. And we are at 57. That is huge. That is a huge increase from this vantage point. 58, 59. There's a low of 55 and a high of 59. That is huge. That is a huge increase. All right, so this is paused, and not unexpectedly, we are sitting rock solid at 60 frames per second. Again, let me turn off the red numbers here. So we are right at 60, solid, not wavering at all. So obviously it can handle this scene. So let me unpause it. And we are still at 60. Oh, there's 29, 37, 50, 60. So for whatever reason, now there's a 57 and a 60. So something is still happening in game that's dropping frame rate, but it's not down to almost 0 frames per second like it was before. So that's improved. All right, we're getting a little wobbly. 58. Still at 60. 60, 58, 61. I don't know how it got above 60. 60. The train's jumping, but the FPS is staying right at 60. So I don't know what the jump frame was. That may be something with my settings. Right, and here comes the Scotsman overhead. Like we didn't know this was going to happen. And we are 59, 58, 57, 59. Oh, there's the hitch, down to 31 FPS. Now remember, with the pre-patch version, that dropped it all the way to something like 10 or 11. So that is improved a little bit as advertised. The smoke just tends to disappear quickly. And now we're back up to 60, and we're at a solid 60 FPS. This is once again this scene near my biggest town. We've got a couple of trains that are going to move through the scene. This is paused, and paused. I am at 35 frames per second. 35 frames per second. Now that we're in motion, let's get this mouse out of here. This is 27 FPS. So I don't think this in particular was a huge improvement. Right. Okay, patch version. The 4th save here. We are looking over our biggest town. The game is paused, and we are at 54 frames per second. 54 frames per second. Let's start the movement. And we are at 40. It's bobbing up and down. Excuse me. Oh, I'm going to turn off the indications. Let's turn off the red indicators. 40. I'm going to say 40 frames per second is fair. Now with this train moving in the background, are we still staying at 40? Ooh, 21, 28, 32, 36. Something happened there, but I didn't see it. 41. 40, 41. 39, 40. Yeah, I think 40. 40 is a fair number for the patch version. 40. All right, that is it. the last test. So yeah, decide for yourselves what kind of percentage increase that is. I've just been recording and I haven't really been thinking about the numbers, but it is what it is, at least right now. And this is just the first revision of that patch, so keep that in mind as well. All right, hope you enjoyed this little test. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.